Hi folks, Jason here. In this tutorial we're going to be looking at the Rigify tool in Blender and learning how to place a simple rig into a simple character and also do a little bit of animation. So without further ado, let's get going. So you'll need to open up Blender. You'll be presented with the usual view here with the camera and the object and the light. I'm just going to get rid of that by hitting delete. And if you hold down Alt and middle mouse, you should be able to go into your orthographic view, Shift and middle mouse just to position. You'll find a link for the OBJ in the description below the video. I'm going to open that up now on my desktop though, so I'm going to go from File, I'm going to go to Import and Wavefront OBJ, go to Desktop and go and find Rigman. There we go. And go Import OBJ. Make sure that the character is fairly central. You want to kind of have it in the middle, something like that. So that's hitting G. And just bringing it down to say there. Next, we want to drop in a rig. Now, it's probably not enabled on your computer, so you're going to need to go to Edit, Preferences, and in the add-ons, just type in the word rig. And you'll see there, it says rigging, Rigify. Now it's turned on mine, obviously it'll be turned off on yours. So just make sure that that's there. Once you've done that, click off, and then we're going to go and bring that up. So Shift and A. Armature, we're going to go through to basic human meta rig. And you'll see there it's quite small. So we're going to need to hit S and just scale that up. So it might just take a few turns to kind of do that. Also, if I just move myself to one side there, in the object properties, you'll need to just scroll down and go through to the viewport display. And I'm going to need to click on this little box that says in front, like so. So now we can actually see what we're doing. So that's the next stage out of the way. Another thing we're going to need to do, because we're going to be moving this around and positioning it, we don't want to do like, one arm then do the other arm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through to edit mode. And then in edit mode, I'm going to click on this little arrow at the top here. And what we're going to do is going to go through to tool. And on tool, you'll see X-axis mirror. You want to click on that. So now any changes that we make on there, it'll happen on the other side. So in order to minimize this, you can just click on the edge there and just drag it in like so until it's popped back into its place. All right, so we're ready to get going. So you can do this a number of ways. You can start positioning it by highlighting the foot there, hitting G, and then like bringing that over like so. So there'll be a lot of adjustment that goes on. When it comes to doing the spine, I will warn you that if you don't move the joints in unison, it can create issues when you generate the rig. So it's just something to bear in mind. So I'll just give you an example of that. I'm just going to move these hip joints. Now obviously this is like stylized character, so it's not like a regular human being. So I'm going to move these hips, hitting G. I'm just going to sort of bring these down a little bit like so. Just going to click on that bottom joint if I can. Yeah, that's selected. Hit G. Just going to bring that down as well. Maybe just bring it over to the side there, just so it's in the middle. Now these are all parented. This is what this dotted line's about. They're all kind of parented together. Okay, so we've got that there. Yeah, so when it comes to the spine, and you can use these orthographic views if you like, but you just tread carefully, because at the moment it's kind of looking okay. It's fairly kind of central, but if you are doing this, just select, make sure you kind of use that marquee tool and just select them before you move them, because if you try and move them independently, it'll basically break it, and then when you go to kind of try and generate a rig, it'll come up with errors. So I'm just hitting G. I'm just basically creating like a bit of a curve on that spine there. Same on that, so try not to select anything else. If you want to be a bit more precise, you can use these the move tool, so that way you can actually use arrows as opposed to just trying to use the G key. Just going to highlight this joint here And again, I'm just going to bring that back. So maybe like in orthographic view, you get a better view there and just sort of see. But it needs to be just fairly, got a bit of a curve going on there. And then we've got the kind of, as it gets up to near the, what would be the clavicle and the neck, we want to be bringing that back as well. So I'm just going to go into the orthographic view again. And just going to highlight that, bring that to there. So yeah, just remember to use the marquee tool on this because it will break it and it will not generate. All right, so we're getting close. We're getting close. I'm just going to move this up to the top. So this will need to be at the top, at the crown, because you can have a controller there as well. We've got this clavicle area here as well. I'm just going to move that into, say, there, something like that. And we've got this breast area. I'm just going to bring those back like so, just so they're like embedded in the model. You'll end up with maybe parts of this kind of sticking out, but don't worry about it as long as it's kind of like fairly central. So you can see here with the legs, we've got an issue going on there. I'm just going to go into the orthographic view, and again, I'm just going to move these back. And just making sure that it's pretty central with the model. But I think that's looking pretty much okay. Yeah, and what we're going to be looking to do in the next video, folks, is generating the controllers, and then we're going to be binding the skeleton to the character. So that'll be in the next part. Just one last thing before we go into the next part, folks. Before we go to generate the rig, you will need to go from edit mode back into object mode. So you've got your armature selected, and I want you to press Control and A. What you need is scale. Okay, so I want to click on that. So I'll do that again. Control and A, and then hit scale. If you don't do that, when it comes to generating the rig, it'll basically generate it at the original size it was at before you scaled it up. So just something to bear in mind before we go into the next section. So as long as you've done that, we're ready to go to the next part of the video. So now we're ready to create controllers and bind this skeleton to our model. So with the skeleton selected in object mode, we're going to go down to the right here, and you want to click on the little symbol with the character. And you see it says generate rig. If you don't see it, just click on the Rigify buttons and you'll see there generate rig. So we're going to hit that, and it's going to go and create our rig for us, which is looking good. Next, what we're going to do over in the top left here, we're going to go on object. I'm going to go to pose mode. Then I'm going to hit A to select it, and then H to hide it. Also, we've got two rigs going on here. We've got the one that we kind of created, and then we've got the new rig. So I'm just going to go and select that. So we've got our rig there. Then on the right here, you'll see all these layers. Now the layers, just to explain, if I just click on the little arrow there, if I go to item, you'll see there basically every part of this skeleton is listed in here, and they all correspond with these buttons here. Yeah, so just so you know what these are, I'll just drag that in. What I want you to do is I want you to go Shift and left click on this button here, and you'll see there you've got part of the model coming through. If I now just go down in this mode to where it says viewport display and just click in front, you will see the model there. And now we're going to go into back into object mode, and what we're going to do next is we're going to go and select the actual model, Shift and select the armature. Then we're going to go Control and P, and then we're going to go Set Parent to with automatic weights. Click on that. Just give it a second. That's all good. And now you can test it just to see that it's bound to it. So if you go and select the armature, then hit G, it should by rights move it around. So that's all looking good. I'm just going to go Control Z and bring that back. And then with the rig selected, we're going to go back to pose mode. And then back over to the right here with the buttons here. I'm going to go Shift and select that button that we selected before. And then with that done, all we need to do is press Alt and H to bring back the visibility of our rig. And then we're set up. And then all we need to do is we'll just say select one of the hands, hit G, and hey presto, we've got our model moving. So if you've achieved that, then well done. That's absolutely awesome. So now you're ready to animate. In the next part, I'm just going to go through the controllers of the model and make sure that you're all set up so you know what to do when it comes to doing the animation, and that'll be in the next part of the video. So just to do a little demonstration now, if I say select this box here, which kind of controls like the bending of the legs, and I hit G, you see there now. So I could just go Control Z that out. I can set a keyframe there. Say hit I, and then go location and scale. So we'll drop a keyframe in there, and basically make that say around about 24. I'll hit G again. Bring that down. You can hit I again. Location scale. So now we've got a little animation. So, general overview of controlling the character. You've got the top, the crown. So that, if you hit R, you can kind of rotate the head, like so. This one for, rotating side to side. You can also use these controls as well, so you can actually, of course our character doesn't have a face, but you can sort of rotate from side to side like that. These other controllers, you don't want to be touching, like, the arrows. The hands, yes, so you've got the controllers here, so you can click on, say, that, hit G, and then move them around like so. We've got one for the sort of, well, you've got several sort of like for the sort of chest areas here. Again, it's just good for things like, if you want to kind of get some extra movement in there, like so. Same thing with this one. But, have a play around. Do a bit of a hip wiggle. It's pretty cool. And then you've got other things like the actual box, which sort of controls the kind of hips, and that's going to be good for like walking, right? So we kind of like shifting the hips from side to side. Again, I'll just Control Z these out. And then we've got the feet. Now, when we're posing this in the next videos, going into more like walking, you may want to be adjusting some of these and just making sure that it's bending okay. So for example, if I just grab hold of these like so, move those up, you want to make sure they're not like knock-kneed, like kind of going sort of together. So you can make some adjustments like using these here, some of those ones there, but you don't really want to be animating with those. You want to be sort of using the feet there. But if you've got that done, well done, you're ready to kind of go to the next stage, which is essentially getting our character to kind of move. And that'll be in the next video. So that's it, folks. Hopefully you found this video useful. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye for now.